Om apavitra pavitro va sarva avastang gotopi va yat smarat pundari kakshang sabaya abhyantara suchihi. Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitang Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalang Pangung Langhayate Giring Yat Kripa Tamahang Bande Sri Gurung Dinataranam. Yat Kripa Tamahang Bande Parama Ananda Madhavam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Aham hi prishta aryamano bhavadbir achaksha atma vagama atra yavan nava patanti atma samang patatrinas tata samang Vishnu gating vipashtataha. O rishis, you are as powerfully pure as the sun. But now I shall describe to you the transcendental pastimes of Krishna as far as my knowledge is concerned. Just as birds fly in the sky as far as their capacity allows, so do the learned devotees describe Krishna as far as their realization allows. In our last episode, we heard about the deliverance of Dvivida gorilla, and how even though Dvivida was a personal associate of Lord Ramachandra, because of bad association with Bauma Asura or Naraka Asura, even though Dvivida was actually an associate of Lord Ram, he became contaminated and degraded. So one time, Lord Balaram was dancing with his gopis, and Dvivida came there to disturb Balaram's activities. And he was behaving in a most abominable, most decrepit way, very, very poor, unrighteous, sinful mannerisms. So Lord Balaram had to kill Dvivida gorilla. So today we are hearing another episode. This one is entitled Samba Kidnaps Lakshmana. Try to follow along with rapt attention, because if you become completely absorbed, you may enter into the Leela. Duryodhana, the first son of Dhritarashtra, had a marriageable daughter by the name Lakshmana. She was a very highly qualified girl of the Kuru dynasty, and many princes wanted to marry her. In such cases, the Swayamvara ceremony is held so that the girl may select her husband according to her own choice. In Lakshmana's Swayamvara assembly, when the girl was to select her husband, Samba appeared. Samba was one of Krishna's sons by Jambavati, who was one of Krishna's 8 principal wives. This son, Samba, was so named because Samba was a pet child and always lived close to his mother. The very name Samba indicates a son who is very much his mother's pet. Amba means mother, and Sa means with. So this special name was given to him because Samba always remained with his mother. Samba was also known as Jambavati Sutta for the same reason. As previously explained, all the sons of Krishna were as qualified as their great father. Samba wanted Duryodhana's daughter, Lakshmana, although she was not inclined to have him. And therefore Samba kidnapped Lakshmana by force from the Swayamvara ceremony. Because Samba took Lakshmana away from the assembly by force, all the members of the Kuru dynasty, such as Dhritarashtra, Bhishma, Vidura, and even Arjuna, thought that this was an insult to their family tradition, that this boy, Samba, could possibly have kidnapped their daughter. All of them knew that Lakshmana was not at all inclined to select Samba as her husband, and Lakshmana was not given the chance to select her own husband properly. Instead, Lakshmana was forcibly taken away by this boy Samba. Therefore, the Kurus decided that Samba must be punished. Unanimously, the Kurus declared that Samba was most impudent and had degraded the Kurus' family tradition. Therefore, all of them, under the counsel of the elderly members of the Kuru family, decided to arrest the boy Samba, but not to kill him. And at this time, Bhishma advised, "Since this maiden has now been touched by Samba, she cannot take another husband. Samba must become her husband. Nonetheless, we should arrest Samba and tie him up to make a statement about Samba's impropriety, and we should also show our own prowess. But in no case should Samba be killed." The Kurus concluded that the girl Lakshmana could not be married to any boy other than Samba, since Lakshmana had already been touched by Samba. For according to the Vedic system, once being touched by some boy, a girl cannot be married or given to any other boy, nor would anyone agree to marry such a girl who had already thus associated with another boy. The elderly members of the family, such as Bhishma, wanted to arrest Samba. All the members of the Kuru dynasty, especially the great fighters, joined together just to teach Samba a lesson. And the commander-in-chief for this small battle was Karna. While making plans to arrest Samba, the Kurus counseled among themselves that upon Samba's arrest, the members of the Yadu dynasty would naturally be very angry with them, and there was every possibility of the Yadus accepting the challenge and fighting with the Kurus. Thus, the Kurus thought, "If the Yadus come here to fight us, what could they do? The members of the Yadu dynasty cannot equal the members of the Kuru dynasty, because the kings of the Kuru dynasty are the emperors of the entire world, whereas the kings of the Yadu dynasty are able to enjoy their own land only because we have granted it to them. So if the Yadus come here to challenge us because their son Samba is arrested, we shall accept the fight and teach the Yadus a good lesson, so that automatically the Yadus will be subdued under pressure, just as the senses are subdued by the mystic yoga process, pranayama. In the mechanical system of mystic yoga, the airs within the body are controlled, and the senses are subdued and checked from being engaged in anything other than meditation upon Lord Vishnu. After consultation and after receiving permission from the elder members of the Kuru dynasty, such as Bhishma and Dhritarashtra, and the 5 great warriors, Karna, Shala, Buri, Yagyaketu, and Duryodhana, the father of the girl, all of them Maharathis, and guided by the great fighter Bhishma Dev, attempted to arrest the boy Samba. There are different grades of fighters, including Maharathi, Ekarathi, and Rati, which are classified according to their fighting ability. The Maharathis could fight alone with many thousands of men, so all of them combined together to arrest Samba. Samba was also a Maharathi, but Samba was alone and had to fight with the 6 other Maharathis. Still, Samba was not deterred when he saw all the great fighters of the Kuru dynasty coming up behind to arrest him. Alone, Samba turned towards the 6 other Maharathis and took up his nice bow, posing exactly like a lion standing adamant in the face of other animals. Karna, leading the party, challenged Samba. "Why are you fleeing? Just stand and we shall teach you a lesson." When challenged by another Kshatriya to stand and fight, a Kshatriya cannot go away. The Kshatriya must stand and fight. Therefore, as soon as Samba accepted the challenge and stood alone before the 6 other Maharathis, Samba was overpowered by showers of arrows shot by all the great warriors. Just as a lion is never afraid of being chased by many wolves and jackals, similarly Samba, the glorious son of the Yadu dynasty, who was endowed with inconceivable potencies, being the son of Lord Krishna, then became very angry at the warriors of the Kuru dynasty for improperly using arrows against him. Samba fought them with great talent. First of all, Samba struck each of the 6 chariot drivers with 6 separate arrows. Samba used another 4 arrows to kill the chariot drivers' horses, which were 4 on each chariot. Then Samba used 1 arrow to kill the driver and 1 arrow for Karna, as well as the other celebrated fighters. While Samba so diligently fought alone with the 6 great warriors, they all appreciated Samba's inconceivable potency. Even in the midst of fighting, the Kauravas admitted frankly that this boy Samba was wonderful. But the fighting was conducted in the Kshatriya spirit, so altogether, although it was improper, the 6 great warriors obliged Samba to get down from his chariot, which was now broken to pieces. Of the 6 warriors, 4 took care to kill Samba's 4 horses. 1 struck down Samba's chariot driver, and one managed to cut the string of Samba's bow so that Samba could no longer fight with the Kauravas. In this way, with great difficulty, and after a severe fight, the 6 great warriors deprived Samba of his chariot, and so they were able to arrest Samba. Thus, the warriors of the Kuru dynasty accepted their great victory, and they took their daughter Lakshmana away from Samba. And thereafter, the warriors entered the city of Hastinapur in great triumph. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This one is entitled, Lord Balaram Punishes the Kuru Dynasty. Immediately, the great sage Narada carried the news to the Yadu dynasty that Samba had been arrested, and Narada told them the whole story. The members of the Yadu dynasty became very angry at Samba's being arrested, and improperly so, by 6 warriors. Now, with the permission of the head of the Yadu dynasty, King Ugrasena, they prepared to attack the capital of the Kuru dynasty. Although Lord Balaram knew very well that by slight provocation, people are prepared to fight with one another in this age of Kali, Balaram did not like the idea that the 2 great dynasties, the Kuru dynasty and the Yadu dynasty, would fight amongst themselves, even though they were influenced by Kali Yuga. Instead of fighting with them, let me go there and see the situation, and let me try to see if the fight can be settled by mutual understanding. This was Balaram's idea, that if the Kuru dynasty could be induced to release Samba along with his wife Lakshmana, then the fight could be avoided. Balaram therefore immediately arranged for a nice chariot to go to Hastinapur, accompanied by learned priests and brahmanas, as well as by some of the elder members of the Yadu dynasty. Balaram was confident that the members of the Kuru dynasty would agree to this marriage and avoid fighting amongst themselves. And as Lord Balaram proceeded towards Hastinapur in his chariot, accompanied by brahmanas and elders, Balaram looked like the moon shining in the clear sky amongst the glittering stars. When Lord Balaram reached the precincts of the city of Hastinapur, Balaram did not enter, but rather stationed himself in a camp just outside the city in a small garden house. Then Balaram asked Uddhava to go see the leaders of the Kuru dynasty and inquire from them whether they wanted to fight with the Yadu dynasty or make a settlement. Uddhava went to see the leaders of the Kuru dynasty, and Uddhava met all the important members, including Bhishma, Dhritarashtra, Dronacharya, Duryodhana, and Balika. After offering them due respects, Uddhava informed them that Lord Balaram had just arrived at the garden outside the city gate. The leaders of the Kuru dynasty, especially Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, were joyful because they knew very well that Lord Balaram was a great well-wisher of their family. there were no bounds to their joy on hearing the news, and so they immediately welcomed Uddhava. In order to properly receive Lord Balaram, they all took in their hands auspicious paraphernalia for Balaram's reception and went to see Balaram outside the city gate. According to their respective positions, they welcomed Lord Balaram by giving him in charity nice cows and arghya, which is a mixture of arati water and an assortment of items such as honey, butter, flour, and sandalwood pulp. Because all of them knew the exalted position of Lord Balaram as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they bowed their heads before Lord Balaram with great respect. Even the elders, like Bhishma Dev, also bowed down to Lord Balaram. They all exchanged words of reception by asking one another of their welfare, and when such formalities were finished, Lord Baladev, in a great voice, very patiently submitted before them the following words for their consideration. My dear friends, this time I have come to you as a messenger with the order of the all-powerful King Ugrasena. Therefore, please hear the order with attention and also with great care. Now, without wasting a single moment, please try to carry out the order of King Ugrasena. Now, Ugrasena knows very well that you warriors of the Kuru dynasty improperly fought with the pious Samba, who was alone, and that with great difficulty and unrighteous tactics you have arrested Samba. We have all heard this news, but we are not very much agitated because we are most intimately related to one another. So therefore, I do not think that we should disturb our good relationship. We should continue our relationship. We should continue our friendship without any unnecessary fighting. Please, therefore, immediately release Samba and bring him, along with his wife Lakshmana, before me. When Lord Balaram spoke in such a commanding tone, full of heroic assertion, supremacy, and chivalry, the leaders of the Kuru dynasty did not appreciate Balaram's statements. Rather, all of them became agitated, and they spoke with great anger. Oh, these words are very astonishing, but they are quite befitting the age of Kali. Otherwise, how could Balaram speak so vituperatively, so harshly? The language and tone used by Balaram are simply abusive, and due to the influence of this age, it appears that the shoes befitting the feet want to rise to the top of the head, where the helmet is worn. We are connected with the Yadu dynasty by marriage ties, and because of this, they have been given the chance to come live with us, dine with us, and sleep with us. Now, they are taking advantage of these privileges. They had practically no position before we gave them a portion of our kingdom to rule. And now they are trying to command us. We have allowed the Yadu dynasty to use the royal insignias like the whisk, the fan, conch shell, white umbrella, crown, royal throne, sitting place, bedstead, and everything else befitting the royal order. But they should not have used such royal paraphernalia in our presence. But we did not check them due to our family relationships. And now they have the audacity, the aggressive boldness, and the unmitigated behavior. One has no right in order to do what they demand from us. Well, enough of their impudence. We cannot allow them to do any more of these things. Nor shall we allow them to use these royal insignias. It would be best to take all these things away, for it is always improper to feed a snake with milk, because such merciful activities simply increase the venom of the snake. The Yadu dynasty is now trying to go against those who have fed them so nicely. Their flourishing condition is due to our gifts and our merciful behavior. And still, they are so shameless that they are trying to order us. Oh, how regrettable all these activities are. No one in the world can enjoy anything if the members of the Yadu dynasty, such as Bhishma, Dronacharya, and Arjuna, do not allow them. Exactly as a lamb cannot enjoy life in the presence of a lion, without our desire, it is not even possible for the demigods in heaven, headed by King Indra, to find enjoyment in life. What to speak of human beings? Actually, the members of the Kuru dynasty were very much puffed up due to their opulence, kingdom, aristocracy, family tradition, great warriors, family members, and vast, expansive empire. The Kurus did not even observe common formalities of civilized society. And in the presence of Lord Balaram, they uttered such insulting words about the Yadu dynasty. Having spoken in this unmannerly way, the Kurus returned to their city of Hastinapur. Although Lord Balaram patiently heard their insulting words and simply observed their uncivil behavior, from Balaram's appearance it was clear that Balaram was burning with anger and was thinking of retaliating with great vengeance. Balaram's bodily features became so agitated that it was difficult for anyone to look at Balaram. Balaram laughed very loudly and spoke. Ha 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 ha! And so it is true that if a man becomes too puffed up because of his family, opulence, beauty, and material advancement, he no longer wants a peaceful life, but becomes belligerent towards all others. It is useless to give such a person good instruction for gentle behavior and peaceful life. On the contrary, one should search out the ways and means to punish such a person. Generally, due to material opulence, a man tends to become exactly like an animal. To give an animal peaceful instructions is useless, and the only means is argumentum ad batulam. In other words, the only means to keep animals in order is beating them with a stick. Balaram continued, Yes, just see how impudent are the members of the Kuru dynasty. I wanted to make a peaceful settlement despite the anger of all the other members of the Yadu dynasty, including Lord Krishna himself. They were preparing to attack the whole kingdom of the Kuru dynasty, but I pacified them and took the trouble to come here just to settle the affair without any fighting. Yet, these rascals behave like this. It is clear that they do not want a peaceful settlement, for they are factually warmongers. With great pride, they have repeatedly insulted me by calling the Yadu dynasty ill names. Why? Even the king of heaven, Indra, abides by the order of the Yadu dynasty. And these Kurus consider King Ugrasena, who is the head of the Bhojas, Vrishnis, Andakas, and Yadavas, to be the leader of a small phalanx? Their conclusion is indeed wonderful. They do not care for King Ugrasena, whose order is obeyed even by King Indra. Why? Just consider the exalted position of the Yadu dynasty. They have forcibly used both the assembly house and the Parijata tree from the heavenly planet. And still the Kurus think that the Yadus cannot order the Kurus? Why? Do they even think that Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that he cannot sit on the exalted royal throne and command everyone? Do they think that way about Krishna? All right then. If their thinking is like that, then these Kurus deserve to be taught a very good lesson indeed. They have thought it wise that the royal insignias like the whisk, fan, white umbrella, royal throne, and other princely paraphernalia not be used by the Yadu dynasty. So, does this mean that even Lord Krishna, the Lord of the whole creation and husband of the goddess of fortune, cannot use this royal paraphernalia? The dust of Krishna's lotus feet is worshipped by all the great demigods. The Ganges water inundates the whole earth, and since it emanates from Krishna's lotus feet, its banks have turned into great places of pilgrimage. The principal deities of all planets engage in Krishna's service and consider themselves most fortunate to take the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna on their helmets. Why? Even great demigods like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and even the goddess of fortune, and I myself, are simply plenary, full parts of Krishna's spiritual identity. And still the Kurus think that Krishna is unfit to use the royal insignia or even sit on the royal throne. Alas, how regrettable it is that these fools consider us, the members of the Yadu dynasty, to be like shoes, and they themselves like helmets. It is clear now that these leaders of the Kuru dynasty have become mad over their earthly possessions and opulence. Why? Every statement the Kurus made was full of crazy proposals. Therefore, immediately, I should take the Kurus to task and bring them to their senses. For if I do not take steps against them, it will be improper on my part. Therefore, on this very day, I shall rid the whole world of any trace of the Kuru dynasty. I shall finish the Kurus off immediately. While talking like this, Lord Balaram seemed so furious that Balaram looked as if he could burn the whole cosmic creation to ashes. Balaram stood up steadily and, taking his club in his hand, began striking the earth with it, separating the whole city of Hastinapur from the earth. And then Balaram began to drag the city towards the flowing waters of the river Ganges. This caused a great tremor throughout Hastinapur, as if there had been an earthquake, and it seemed that the whole city would be dismantled. By Balaram's desire, his celebrated plow had increased in size, and as Balaram began dragging Hastinapur towards the water, Balaram then ordered the Ganges, "Except for Samba, you should attack and kill everyone in the city with your water." Thus, Balaram would fulfill his promise to rid the earth of the Kauravas while making sure that nothing bad would happen to Samba. When all the members of the Kuru dynasty saw that their city was about to fall into the water of the Ganges, and when they heard the citizens howling in great anxiety, the Kurus immediately came to their senses and understood what was happening. Thus, without waiting any more time, the Kurus brought forward their daughter Lakshmana. They also brought Samba, who had forcibly tried to take Lakshmana away, keeping Samba in the forefront with Lakshmana at his back. All the members of the Kuru dynasty appeared before Lord Balaram with folded hands, just to beg pardon of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, using good sense, the Kurus spoke. "O Lord Balaram, reservoir of all pleasures, you are the maintainer and support of the entire cosmic situation. Unfortunately, we were all unaware of your inconceivable potencies. Dear Lord Baladev, please consider us most foolish. Our intelligence had become bewildered, and in order, now we have come before you to beg your pardon. Please excuse us. You, Balaram, are the original creator, sustainer, and annihilator of the whole cosmic manifestation. And still, your position is always transcendental. O all-powerful Lord Balaram, great sages speak about you. You are the original puppeteer, and everything in this world is just like your toy. O unlimited one, you have a hold on everything, and like child's play, you hold all the planetary systems on your head. And when the time for dissolution comes, you close down the whole cosmic manifestation within yourself. At that time, nothing remains but yourself, lying in the causal ocean as Mahavishnu. Our dear Lord, you have appeared on this earth in your transcendental body just for the maintenance of this cosmic situation. You, Balaram, are above all anger, envy, and enmity. Whatever you do even in the form of chastisement, is auspicious for the whole material existence. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you because you are the imperishable, supreme personality of Godhead. You are the reservoir of all opulences and potencies. You are the creator of innumerable universes. So let us fall down and offer our respectful obeisances unto you again and again. Now we are completely surrendered unto you. Please, therefore, be merciful upon us and give us your protection. And when the prominent members of the Kuru dynasty, beginning with Bhishma Dev down to Arjuna and Duryodhana, had offered their respectful prayers in that way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Balaram, immediately became softened and assured the Kurus that there was no cause for fear and that they no longer need worry. For the most part, it was the practice of Kshatriya kings to inaugurate some kind of fighting between the parties of the bride and bridegroom before the marriage. When Samba forcibly took away Lakshmana, the elder members of the Kuru dynasty were pleased to see that Samba was actually the suitable match for Lakshmana. But in order to see Samba's personal strength, however, the Kurus fought with Samba, and without respect for the regulations of fighting, they all arrested Samba. When the Yadu dynasty decided to release Samba from the confinement of the Kurus, Lord Balaram came personally to settle the matter. And as a powerful Kshatriya, Balaram ordered the Kurus to free Samba immediately. The Kauravas were superficially insulted by this order, so they challenged Lord Balaram's power. The Kurus simply wanted to see Balaram exhibit his inconceivable strength. Thus, with great pleasure, the Kurus handed over their daughter Lakshmana to Samba, and the whole matter was finally settled. Being affectionate towards his daughter Lakshmana, Duryodhana had her married to Samba in great pomp. For her dowry, Duryodhana first gave 1,200 elephants, each at least 60 years old. Then Duryodhana gave 10,000 nice horses, 6,000 chariots, all dazzling like sunshine, and 1,000 maidservants decorated with golden ornaments. Lord Balaram, the most prominent member of the Yadu dynasty, acted as guardian of the bridegroom Samba, and very pleasingly accepted the dowry. Balaram was very satisfied after his great reception from the side of the Kurus, and accompanied by the newly married couple, Balaram started toward his capital city, Dwaraka. Lord Balaram triumphantly reached Dwaraka, where he met with many citizens who were all his devotees and friends. And when they all assembled, Lord Balaram narrated the whole story of the marriage, and they were all astonished to hear how Balaram had made the city of Hastinapur tremble. Finally, it is confirmed by Shukadeva Goswami that in those days, the river flowing through the city of Hastinapur, which is now present-day New Delhi, was known as the Ganges, although today it is called the Yamuna. And from authorities like Jiva Goswami, it is confirmed that the Ganges and Yamuna are the same river flowing in different courses. That part of the Ganges which flows through Hastinapur to the area of Vrindavan is called the Yamuna because it is sanctified by the transcendental pastimes of Lord Krishna. The part of Hastinapur which slopes towards the Yamuna becomes inundated during the rainy season and reminds everyone of Lord Balaram's threatening to cast the city into the Ganges. Jiva Goswami also says that when the Ganges is 100 times purified, it is known as Yamuna.